Several cities across the U.S. are seeing double-digit increases in domestic violence deaths amid the pandemic. And according to new data, it's even worse in the United Kingdom. Advocacy groups say that 3 times as many women were killed by men in Britain during the first 3 weeks of the coronavirus lockdown. That's more domestic violence deaths recorded than in the last decade alone. CBS News producer Haley Ott reports.
The number of newly confirmed virus cases in South Korea has decreased to below 50.
When a BBC journalist went on air with the number of Britain's national domestic violence helpline written on her hand, she made headlines while reading them. Amid warnings of a global rise in abuse, British domestic violence charities say the number of calls for help increased significantly before the lockdown began in late March. Since then, calls have dropped, according to some charities, by as much as 50%. Lucy Hadley works at a domestic violence nonprofit that offers support to victims.
Not only is isolation a key tactic of domestic abuse and coercive and controlling behaviour, so the enforced isolation makes that even greater, and it increases the risk of kind of ongoing physical and emotional harm for women and children that are living with the perpetrator of domestic abuse. But also the lockdown shuts away the support, the safety and access to support that women would normally have.
During 3 weeks of the UK lockdown, nearly 3 times more women have been killed by men than the average for that period. It's the most in over a decade.
How would an extension to the lockdown affect rates of domestic abuse?
I think it's really important to make clear that the coronavirus doesn't cause domestic abuse, that it is exacerbating those existing behaviours within relationships and making access to support and safety harder. So I think we'll see that continue.
Charities are working around the clock to keep shelters running. But as the fight against the coronavirus rages on, some women find themselves faced with a grim choice: the threat outside of an invisible disease or danger at home. Haley Ott, CBS News, London.